Hello again everyone, James here. You know, it's been 3 months since our first video about the coronavirus and its impact on the music business. So I thought today we'd take a little time to look at what's happening in the world and how the battle against COVID-19 is affecting the entertainment industry. Right off the top, I need to give a little bit of congratulations to our friends in Europe. Most countries in Europe are seeing their lowest daily case numbers and death rates to date, and it's been that way for several weeks. All of you in Europe have been doing a great job of wearing masks, social distancing, and doing your part to slow the spread of coronavirus. I wish I could say the same about here in the United States, but if you've read the news or watched the news or listened to the news, then you probably already know that's not the case. Here in the United States, despite people's best efforts to get things back to normal, many states are seeing their highest case numbers to date, with Florida and Texas in particular seeing gigantic leaps over the past several weeks. And with the recent 4th of July celebration, it's likely those numbers will continue to rise, at least for the foreseeable future. With all that in mind, let's get to it. How is the music industry adapting to coronavirus 3 months in? And the answer is, it's pretty much a scramble. Right now, I would say that there is zero chance any major touring is going to happen before 2021. And even with that said, I don't think it's really going to be in full swing or at least half swing until summer 2021 at the earliest. Recent weeks have proven that when artists are allowed to go back and perform again, so many rules that are in place to protect people and slow the spread of the disease that is coronavirus get thrown out the window. The best example of this would be country star Chase Rice, who recently came under fire after performing a show in Tennessee where nearly 1,000 people attended, no one wore masks, and there was virtually no social distancing to be found. Now, people will tell you that the venue would have allowed the space needed to socially distance, but no one was enforcing those rules. So people were just pushing down on one another, trying to get close to the stage, as you would at any normal concert. But these are not normal times. So when people are doing this, they're raising the risk that not only those at the concert get sick, but that everyone, the people that go to the concert know, potentially get sick as well. And that leads to deaths, that leads to more lockdowns, that leads to more time not living a quote-unquote normal existence. And because of this ongoing inability for live music to resume, hundreds, if not thousands of music venues around the world are in danger of closing. In fact, according to NIVA, the National Independent Venue Association here in the United States, over 90% of the US independent venues will go under if the current pandemic stretches through September. Not September 2021, this September, as in about 6 weeks from right now when I'm making this video. And if you haven't looked at the news, a lot of states are actually rolling back their reopening phases, which means it's likely this is going to continue well into the fall. And if that happens, we're going to lose countless iconic venues and important venues, because independent venues are the stepping stone between garages and giant theaters or arenas or stadium shows. They are where bands cut their teeth, where the vast majority of music fans go to see live music, and the federal government has not offered them any help during the current pandemic. So this issue continues. People aren't able to go on tour. People aren't able to go to concerts indoors. These venues are going to close. And when that happens, the entire music ecosystem is going to be shook, because there will be nowhere to route tours even when we're able to have them again. But it's not just those independent venues that are in trouble. Live Nation and AEG, the two biggest entertainment companies pretty much on the planet, are also struggling. Thousands and thousands of people have been laid off, and it's likely that more will be laid off as this drought without live music continues, which again throws the ecosystem of the music industry into a flux, because there are so many people looking for work and nowhere for them to go to work, which is just adding to the unemployment problem and creating a whole bunch of uncertainty that is just really heavy and hard to deal with. And that's all just the live music side of things. Let's take a moment to talk about the recording side, which I do think has a few bright spots. Now, if you think back to March of this year, you may recall that many artists decided to postpone their March, April, and May releases in hopes of dropping them before touring resumed in the fall. However, now that touring looks like it won't be happening before 2021, all of those artists, their labels, and their teams are trying to figure out when to release this music. Now, you could sit on it until next year and drop it before touring resumes, if touring resumes, fingers crossed. But if you do, you risk being out of touch and out of date. Let's face it, things have changed. There are societal changes, cultural changes. Things people are thinking about and talking about are so much different than they were a few months ago. So if you have an album that was ready to be released in March and you hold it till 2021, you run a risk of just sounding old, outdated, out of touch, and that's That's not a good recipe for selling music. So people are trying to figure out how they can get it out now and make the most bang for their buck while people are out of work and unable to see concerts. And that's creating a situation that is forcing creativity in a major way. I mean, we've already seen the revolution as far as live streaming is concerned. The industry should have adapted live streaming years ago. It's been the talk of the town for longer than I can remember. However, it took this pandemic to make it something that every artist has in their marketing plan. And now without touring, there's so much more new ideas and things being tried that have never been attempted before in marketing, because there was this thing that just worked, this machine that you just fed content, spit it out on certain places, made a few appearances, made tour stops, and everything worked. But without touring and without the ability to do a lot of big high-profile TV appearances, all because of the pandemic, labels and artists of all sizes are having to rethink marketing from the ground up. And that is forcing evolution that the industry has desperately needed for a long time. And while that's probably going to cause a few releases to get lost in the shuffle and will cause a lot of problems for big labels that had already spent money on tour promotion and other things, ultimately, I think that's a good thing, because the industry needs to change in order to grow. And even though our hand's being forced, it's ultimately going to push us in a better direction as a whole. And I want to give a mention to the independent artists of it all, the ones who didn't really have much of a career before this started and who now have no idea how to build a career, because who wants to sign an artist when they can't make that touring money? So what you need to do right now is the same thing that all the big labels are doing, which is rebuild marketing plans from the ground up. Rethink how you engage with listeners, rethink how you build an audience. Focus your efforts on where you're seeing the most return for your time and money, and do as much as you can to leverage those for success. Build a massive following, get them to listen to your music regularly, stream your content, watch your videos, and engage with you on Instagram Live. Build an engaged audience and the industry will come to you, because right now everyone is playing the same game at basically the same level. How do we grab the attention of people? How do we retain their attention? And how do we convert that attention into money in the long run? If you can figure it out, there's going to be a label, a management team, a booking agent, what have you, that wants to work with you. So just get at it. And I know this may come across as a relatively heavy video, but let's be real for a second. These are heavy times. Before the music industry gets back into quote unquote normalcy, we are going to see artists give up their career because they need to make money elsewhere. We're going to see venues go out of business. We're going to see record labels fold. We are going to see the kind of changes that the industry has not experienced in the last 100 years all unfold in a matter of months, and it's because of something that is largely out of our control. That is scary. That is terrifying in ways that's often hard to put into words. But what I know for a fact, and what you can find a little bit of hope and reassurance in, is that the music industry, when we work together, can do amazing things. We are all in the business of helping promote the songs that have the potential to change the world, and right now the world is changing, and there are people out there making music that will facilitate that change in a meaningful way and will encourage people and give them hope. And if we stick together and promote the artists that are making that change and fight for venues to get money and fight for people to keep their jobs, we're going to get through this thing. Will we lose some people? Absolutely. That seems pretty much unstoppable at this point. But will we come back stronger than ever? I absolutely believe that. And I hope together here at Music Biz, we can find a way ahead as a community, as a family, as one music business. So if you're into that, if that's something you believe in as well, take a moment, click the subscribe button down below, and join us. This is a journey. I might be the person in front of the camera here, but all of you play a part in shaping what we do here. And that's how the whole industry should be working and is working towards doing, I believe, right this second. So join us on this journey. We'll get through this together. And if you've already done that, well, then there's only one thing left to say. And that is that I need you to take care of yourself, because you deserve it.